So coming up here first, CV writing part 1. What's the importance of a good CV? Let me begin by clarifying these terms that I'm sure you've heard: CV and resume. Officially, a resume is a short summary of experience, skills and qualifications. And officially, a CV, or curriculum vitae, curriculum, is a longer document used mainly for technical or academic jobs. You'll probably hear people talk about a CV in the UK and a resume in the US, and they both mean the same thing. So we'll be using both terms to talk about a piece of marketing material that will sell you no longer than about 2 pages, crafted beautifully to present yourself as just what that employer needs. So now we know what we're talking about. So next, let's consider, what do you want it to do for you? Let's step back a moment and reflect on what you've done so far. If you followed our advice, you've done a lot of hard work. You've researched the business. You've studied the job description and the selection criteria. You've taken a clear look at yourself, your values, your personal qualities, your experience and skills, and how to express all that in a way that highlights your achievements and gives a sense of you as a person. So by now, you have a really good idea of how you could target your skill set towards what an employer is looking for. Now let's look at the employer's point of view. 6 seconds is all you get. Remember that interesting statistic about how long a selector spends, on average, deciding whether they like the look of a CV? 6.25 seconds. And if they do like the look of someone, they then spend, on average, another 4.5 minutes actually reading the CV. For most selectors, reading CVs is something they often have to do in their own time. So you can see why it's super important to get the attention of a selector quickly. But how? What is a selector interested in? They're interested in what you can do for them. At this stage, they don't really care about your career objectives or what you want to get out of your next position. They want to know how you can give them something valuable that will improve their business. Initially, therefore, recruiters are interested only in your main job headings, your work history at a glance. So now let's look at the importance of focusing your CV. Your CV must speak to the employer. Take it from me, a professional HR recruiter. Finding a dream resume is one that shows the selector you have what they need and makes it easy for them to see that. And how do you do that? By targeting your CV each time. Before we look at constructing your CV, it's important to decide what type of CV or resume is best. And what do I mean by that? Well, people are often not sure whether to create something different for every position or to use the same CV every time. But it is clear, you should produce a targeted CV, one that is clearly aimed at a specific position or employer. I know, creating a targeted CV for each position can take a lot of time, but I honestly believe it's worth the effort. As a selector, I can tell you that it's very obvious to spot that someone has taken the trouble to make their resume specially relevant to my vacancy or my sector. It does make a difference. To make it a little easier, you can prepare a generic or general CV, almost like a database of information about yourself, and then pull different sections out to construct customized resumes for different purposes. A targeted resume tells a recruiter you're serious and willing to put time in to achieve what you want. Now, along with my colleague Brian, we're going to show you how to do this.
Hi, my name is Matthias, and today we're going to be talking about false friends again. False friends are those words that have a translation or have a word that sounds very similar in English, very similar to the Spanish word, but has a very different meaning, the English word. The English word is completely different. For example, in Spanish you are thinking cuestión, yeah? And then you say, oh great, in English there exists a word that's very similar to that, it's a question. And then all of a sudden you panic because you're thinking question, but wait, that's pregunta. What is the translation of cuestión? Well, that's the problem, right? Because while you're thinking, the native is standing there looking at you going, why is this person thinking? Why is he not saying anything? Why are they silent? Well, in order to avoid this, we say that cuestión is always translated by something else, right? Cuestión is what? It's a subject, right? It's a matter of. When you say it's a question, I would say it's a matter of. It's a subject, a theme. Very different, right? Because question in English, the translation is, of course, yeah, that's right, pregunta in Spanish. So watch out when you say cuestión, question, very different words. What you mean to say is subject, a matter of something. And that's the false friend.
Hi, I'm Anna Collins, and a common mistake people make is they say, what happened? Imagine you see someone crying, they're upset, and a person says, what happened? But in English, it'd be more common to say, what's wrong or what's the matter, not what happened. What's wrong or what's the matter? Because you want to know what the problem is, why that person is crying, and you want to know what's wrong with them, what's the matter. So remember this and try not to make the mistake, okay?